The space agency has released images of a Chinese flag on the moon. China posted images of that flag apparently taken from its space lander on the moon's surface. The flag was attached to Beijing's spacecraft Chang'e 5. Flying the Chinese flag on the lunar surface is a symbolic display of its intentions to compete with the United States in space. And with this, the space race is only heating up. China has now raised its flag 51 years after the US first planted its colors on the lunar surface. Only America's Apollo missions have raised national flags on the moon earlier. The 1969 Apollo 11 mission saw the US plant its flag, producing one of the most iconic images in history. Said that the flag was raised just before the ascent vehicle lifted off from the moon. Unlike Chinese flags on its previous spacecraft, which were imprinted on the body of the vessel, China says that the flag on Chang'e 5 was made of fabric. Chang'e 5, the third Chinese spacecraft to land on the moon, is the latest in a series of ambitious missions for Beijing's space program. The spacecraft is making its way back to Earth with lunar samples. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Stephen Hahn has said that it was realistic to expect that 20 million Americans could be vaccinated against COVID-19 by the end of this year. Hahn declined to give a specific timeline of how long the approval of the vaccine developed by Pfizer and BioNTech would take, saying only that the regulator would move very quickly after an advisory committee meets on the 10th of December. Hahn also said that he had a robust discussion at a White House meeting with the Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, to discuss the timing of the vaccine.
So I think given what we know about supplies, it is realistic. It'll very much depend upon the vaccination campaign and the final decisions of the CDC and Department of Health and Human Services about allocation.
And joining us live on the broadcast is our correspondent Jagriti Dave from Washington, D.C. Jagriti, a lot of statements that have been doing the rounds from within the American administration on the rollout of the vaccines. How prepared is America for the vaccination drive?
Well, as you were saying, Dr. Hahn anticipates that 20 million Americans will be vaccinated by the end of the year, but that is subject to the FDA approving Pfizer's vaccine. The committee is due to meet on the 10th of December. It's unclear how long the approval process will take. Some are anticipating that it could happen quickly. Some FDA officials saying it could take weeks. However, once that process has happened, if approval is given, Dr. Hahn and others, including the chief advisor to the government's Operation Warp Speed, which is the Trump administration's, the US government's strategy for deploying vaccines, getting vaccines and therapies available. That project, the head of that, the head advisor of that, has said that it could be anything from 24 to 48 hours after approval that Americans begin to get vaccinated. So there is a lot of confidence coming from officials that if the approval is given, that vaccines could be given to Americans before the end of the year.
Right. As far as the message from the Joe Biden camp is concerned, the rollout plan has also been facing a lot of hurdles as far as the transition is concerned, because only once the Trump administration hands over the plans, if at all, to the Joe Biden camp is when the rollout actually materializes over the next few months. What more do we have on that front?
Well, this is the challenge that the Biden administration faces, isn't it? That they are, the transition is happening whilst this unprecedented rollout is expected to take place. They are, the inauguration is January the 20th, and that, if vaccines begin rolling out at the end of December, the beginning to the middle of January, that process will still be underway as Joe Biden takes the helm of the country. And of course, his delayed transition process, where the US government was not acknowledging that process to take place, that has clearly made things a little more difficult. But Joe Biden has been speaking. He has said that he is going to ask Americans to wear a mask for the first 100 days of his administration. He and officials have acknowledged that enforcing a nationwide mask mandate is going to be constitutionally problematic, but he is nonetheless going to request Americans to wear masks because he believes that could significantly reduce the spread of COVID-19, that combined, of course, with the rollout of vaccines.
Jagriti Dave, appreciate very much for joining us on the broadcast with those details and perspectives. Moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired an all-party meeting to discuss the COVID-19 situation and the vaccine development. At that virtual meeting, the Prime Minister said that India has the expertise and the capacity when it comes to vaccine distribution.